Hi everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to Blackbird PC Tech and our first video in our Golden Sample Builds Expert Build series. Our Golden Sample Build series is focused on showing you how to build your dream system. A Golden Sample chip is a processor that can run cooler and overclock higher than comparable chips. You basically get more for your money, so it's what we all hope for when we buy a new CPU or GPU. But here's the secret, even if we lose the silicon lottery, we can still build a Golden Sample system because every processor model has to meet a minimum spec, otherwise it will be binned to a lower model within that same family. So don't stress about winning the silicon lottery because this series will help to show you how to build an amazing system with the components that you do have. The first video in this series is a truly special build to me because it's celebrating what is an absolutely outstanding game that was received extremely well by the broader PC community. Are you ready? Let's go after a short word from our sponsor, BeQuiet. Before I get started with the build, I wanted to talk a little bit about computer-based D&D games. I started playing tabletop D&D when I was in high school, and I got the computer-based D&D bug during the Gold Box era series when the original Pool of Radiance came out. It was an amazing game, and I recall being at a friend's house and playing on his Commodore 64. Pretty sure it was a tape-driven system, so we had to, well, for those of you that remember what tapes are, we had to fast forward and rewind the tape and then press play at the right time to load up the game. But man, when I played that game, I was hooked. I managed to get a copy of Pool of Radiance to run on my 8086. I think it was running EGA graphics. For those of you that aren't familiar, 16 colors. It may have even been running CGA graphics, which for those of you that experienced 4 colors in all of its glory, it was amazing. But the game was just so good that I couldn't put it down. From that point on, I was totally hooked, and I played everything in the Gold Box series. From Forgotten Realms, so first was Pool of Radiance, then Curse of the Azure Bonds, Secret of the Silver Blades, and Pool of Darkness, to Dragonlance, Champions of Krynn, Death Knights of Krynn, Dark Queen of Krynn, and even the Buck Rogers game called Countdown to Doomsday. I know it's not D&D, but it was a very cool game. I think there was just one of them made. I was reading the novels for the different D&D worlds, and then playing in those worlds on my PC, so it was awesome. This was true of the Dark Sun games that came out after the Gold Box series, Shattered Lands, and Wake of the Ravager, which may not have been amazing games, but were fun because it made the books and the characters in those books come to life. I took a bit of a break after playing those games. I moved to the US, I was doing grad school, and I played other games during that time like Diablo, but not D&D based ones. And I really didn't get back into D&D based computer games or PC games until Baldur's Gate 2 came out, which, I mean, come on. That was the most amazing experience and game. It was just outstanding. Still to this day, one of the best games I've ever played. I can still, even though it was so long ago, vaguely remember a fight with a demi-lich. And it was, through some random door off a street. And I lost so many times. And finally, I remember giving one character all of my magic items to make sure that they survived. And then I just resurrected all of the rest of my characters after the fight. But man, that was such an amazing game. So many kind of fun memories. And I played that multiple times, like I'm sure many of you did. After playing Baldur's Gate 2 multiple times, I got the D&D PC game hook again, and I was eager to play a new D&D based game. And when Neverwinter Nights came out, I got hooked all over again. One of the things I loved about Neverwinter Nights was the modding community that created some truly amazing modules to play, free to play, modules that were often much better than the core campaign in the base game. I also played Neverwinter Nights 2 and the DLC add-ons that came out, and that was a lot of fun too. The modding community, from what I recall, wasn't as good for that game. I think it had something to do with the game itself as the original Neverwinter Nights, but that was a lot of fun. I never played the online versions, massive multiplayer ones. I always played the single player ones by myself. Had a lot of fun. I played other similar games after that, but I, along with many others, I'm sure, wanted a new D&D based title to sink our teeth into. Unfortunately, a lot of the titles, the D&D based titles that did come out over the last 10 or so years were very average at best, and I bought them all. I mean, I bought one and I forget the name of it, but I remember a year later the company went out of business and they stopped supporting the game, so that wasn't fun. But they were okay, but they just weren't great. Which brings us to the long-awaited release of Baldur's Gate 3. When I found out that Larian Studios was making the game, I was super excited because I'd played their other titles and I recall how good they were and thinking to myself, man, this would be even better if it used D&D rules. I had played Divinity Original Sin 2 and I absolutely loved it, so I was really hopeful that they could apply their magic to Baldur's Gate 3. When the game was finally released in early access on Steam, I was there along with apparently everyone else trying to download it, and there were so many of us that we crashed the Steam servers, which was pretty awesome. So I downloaded it, I loaded it up, but I just couldn't bring myself to play it. I didn't want to have to be forced to stop and wait. And, one of my friends was playing it. He said, yeah, he got to the end of the first act and then kind of was left wanting more. I kind of wanted to wait until they perfected the game and then play it through. I didn't want to be stopped and then kind of sat there for what was 2 years or so, waiting for the rest of the game. So I decided to order the collector's edition and wait. But wow, was it a long wait, but it was so worth it. What a truly outstanding, phenomenal game Larian created. I mean, it is amazing. The game inspired me so much that I knew I had to build something special to celebrate the game. And while I was building the Baldur's Gate 3 themed PC that you'll see in this video, my collector's edition was delivered in the mail, but more about this later in the video. The system being built today is a Baldur's Gate 3 themed build being built inside of a limited edition InWin 509 medieval metal chassis. The core components are for the motherboard an MSI MPG Z790 Edge Wi-Fi. The CPU is an Intel Core i7 13700K. For the RAM, 32 gig of Kingston Fury Renegade DDR5 6400 CL32 timing. For the GPU, an MSI Gaming NVIDIA RTX 4070 Ti Ventus 3X. For the storage, 3 WD Black SN850X NVMe SSDs. For the CPU cooler, a BeQuiet Darkrock Pro 4 air cooler. For the fans, 5 BeQuiet Lightwings 140mm PWM high-speed fans. And finally, for the PSU, a BeQuiet Dark Power 13 1000 watt 80 plus titanium PSU. I selected these components because I was concerned about the thermals inside this case. There's a relatively small mesh opening in the front of the case that allows you to bring cool air in, but the rest of the case has limited ventilation, so I didn't want to put a higher-end Intel or NVIDIA chip inside and generate too much heat. As I mentioned earlier in the video, a big thank you to BeQuiet for providing the PSU, the fans, and the air cooler for the build. They always produce high quality components that I can easily recommend. In addition, the 3D printed artwork was produced by the team at White Clouds, and thank you for doing an amazing job with that. So with the core components in hand, let's get building. Okay, so this is the after cable management. I did some cleanup down here. I really only have one cable. I did use a cable mod, 180 degree, 12 volt high power cable management. So basically it just plugs in and shoots the cable off backwards. So that way I went with silver because, you know, there's a bit of a theme with silver and white on the motherboard, silver on the BeQuiet cooler and the power supply, so I thought silver would look good. And I had black and white as well, so you can get an idea. You can just see the RAM down there, not much clearance, but there is clearance. You just won't be able to see the RGB. Okay, the double stacked fans, right? So you've got two 140s, followed by two 140s, followed by a 120, I think that's a 180, and then you've got the exhaust fan at the back. So the airflow is from front to back, straight through. You also have fans, obviously 3 fans on the GPU pushing air up. There's mesh on the bottom. There's also some mesh on the back to allow, so that card is not starved of air. Should be good. And then on the back, so I ended up having to go with a different hub. And the reason I went with a different hub, because I didn't need 8, I only used 5 for the 5 case fans. Here's the box, the AirGoo, ARGB and fan hub. I went with this because, believe it or not, the one from that I was using from, what was it, Thermal Take, it didn't have enough room to put the ARGB connectors in. Like, they wouldn't actually fit into the hub, which is a little odd because these are pretty standard ARGB fan connectors. So I really love that thing, but whatever. I went with this. The problem of going with this was a little longer, it was difficult to place it. So, and this cable, the CPU cable, power cables, I didn't have enough length to run them. I would have liked to have come out here, ran them down the side, tucked them under here, and then gone across and in. I didn't have enough room, so the back will be completely covered. You won't be able to see it. So that's the best I could do. And then I just basically connected all these cables together. I've done this a lot with Corsair fan hubs, which are a mess obviously, and then just put them together with some of the power cables. This is the motherboard cable, and then I was able to use zip ties in numerous places. I zip tied here. I was able to connect, let's see, what was I able to do? I was able to connect, these are really cool little brackets. I'll show you. So you can either use them to route cables. So this is what they look like. You can use them to route cables, or you can use the smaller ones to actually connect to the case and then use it to put a cable through, a zip tie through, to hold it in place. That's what I've done here and here. I've used the small one. That's why this cable isn't moving. I've zip tied it to the case here. I've put little screws in. If you find any kind of holes within the case, you can do that. A lot of the more modern cases, you don't need to do that because they come already well equipped for tie downs. So, you know, running the fan cables from the front and then running the ones from here in these grommets that hide it, just connecting them all together. There's a lot of extra. These are the extra RGB or ARGB male plugs so that you can put them in series there. Don't need that at all, so they're just kind of a bit of a mess. Anyway, so this is the hub connected to power, plugged into the motherboard, and these are the connections for the CPU cooler. Make sure that they go to the right spot. You may be able to see, you really can't see that there's not a lot of clearance. So the case will have a glass area here, so you will be able to see the power supply. So I did want to make sure that that was, you know, branded well for BeQuiet, since they're a sponsor of this. So I did want to make sure that you could see that. You could see the beauty of the Dark Power 13. It's just a really elegant power supply. And I have the GPU support bracket, which really isn't doing much. It's not a very heavy GPU. So looking forward to getting this up and running. I'll show you the case. So it's a 509 from InWin with some modifications. So on the front we have the Baldur's Gate 3 custom logo. It's 3D printed and painted, and so I think it looks pretty awesome there. And then on the side we also have the Baldur's Gate 3 official logo on the shield. What's cool about this is that the shield lights up, and I'll take some footage of the system on, but the shield lights up, so it looks very, very cool. So pretty cool system. Thank you for BeQuiet for sponsoring. You can see the BeQuiet cooler here. I did want to make sure, and the reason I bought this GPU is I didn't want to light it up with a lot of RGB, so the graphics card doesn't light up. What's nice about that is that you don't see the cables below the graphics card, so they're hidden when the system is on, which is kind of nice. I love the sword, my logo on, and the SR71 Blackbird, which is what Blackbird PC Tech is named after. And then the 30th anniversary in Win custom case. This is case number 22, so it's a limited edition run. You can still pick these up, they're actually pretty cool. So the power button is on the top of the sword, which is nice. So yeah, that's the case. Pretty happy with how this turned out. Remember how I mentioned that I had ordered the collector's edition of Baldur's Gate 3 and that it arrived while I was building this PC? Well, I thought it would be really cool to do an unboxing of it since the collector's edition has been sold out since the game launched. So let's unbox and see what we got. I'm pretty excited about this. Again, like I said, huge D&D player when it comes to PC games. Done this nearly my whole life now, so I'm super excited. My goodness, first impressions, this is freaking awesome, amazing. I mean, Larian Studios, what an amazing job. I really hope this gets Game of the Year. It's such a phenomenal game. Oh wow. Alright, I know some people would say, hey, keep it in the box because it'll be worth something. I don't care. I mean, I buy this stuff to actually look at and play with it. Okay, so we have a folder on Baldur's Gate 3. It has a certificate of authenticity. That's very cool. Oh man, it has character sheets for all the characters. That is really cool. I guess this is so you can play them. On board games, it has a cloth map. It has stickers. My daughter's gonna love these. Oh wow, that is super cool. I have no idea who they had make this, but this is literally the best packaged, thought out kit. Wow, this is insane. Larian Studios, I mean, outstanding job. And the game is outstanding, but this is amazing. Wow, very cool. Okay. Alright, so we have the book, cards, it's for Magic the Gathering. Let's see. Oh man. Alright, this is put. Oh, this is cool. I have to figure out a spot to put this. Now I know why it weighed so much. Look at this thing. Look at this. Wow. This is unbelievable. So clearly, whoever this is in the Underdark. It's not Drist, since he has a shield. Looks like a Drow-Elf though. Scimitar and shield. Oh, man, that is awesome. I had a blank there, but I have both of his swords there. Alright, there's something here that's pretty heavy. Some of the... Oh man! Look at that. That is a metal 20-sided dice. That is awesome. Oh, it's a keychain. So I won't ruin it for people that haven't played the game, but this is very relevant to the game, obviously. Larian Studios, I really hope, well, first of all, I hope you like the build that I did. I'm so excited for this game. You guys just did an amazing job. I played a few of your more recent games. The only thing about them was they were outstanding, but I just wish they were D&D, and then this happened. So this was pretty awesome, and wow, what an amazing job. You outdid yourselves again. The quality of this, I know why it took so long to ship. I mean, the quality of these are just, you know, outstanding, like I said. So hey, thank you guys for just putting so much effort into this game. It means a lot on behalf of the community. We absolutely love it. You guys rock. Keep making phenomenal games like this. And I know I was impatient. It took a few years from the original launch, but well worth it. Can't wait to see. I know you said there might not be an expansion. I really hope there's an expansion. So I can't wait to see that. Awesome. So with the build now complete and Baldur's Gate 3 ready to be installed, I thought it'd be a good idea to run some benchmarks and compare this system to the Intel-based open bench test system that we built in our prior video. Instead of showing my usual suite of gaming benchmarks, however, I thought it would be much more relevant to show Baldur's Gate 3, of course, but also a few other select games that have a fantasy theme. In today's video, we saw just how easy it is to build your dream system, whether that is a custom theme build or an ultimate performance build. If you really love certain genres, then I would encourage you to make a statement with your PC and customize it to match your style. What better way to enjoy your favorite games than to modify your PC case to match? As you can see, even if you don't have the best of the best components in hand, you can still create a work of art and something that you can be truly proud of. PC building is not about what you don't have, but about optimizing the system you do have. And what better way to do that than to modify your case? Remember, it's not rocket science, it's Lego. My goal is to help you make the right choices and put them together the right way every single time. Thank you for watching the first video in the Golden Sample Builds Expert Build series. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes as I build some really cool systems. Please also comment and offer suggestions on any future combination of components that you would like to see me build with. Bye for now.